Good evening and welcome into Love Yourself Spiritual Channel. My name is Peggy. Tonight we're going to finish our last of the major arcana spiritual energy reads, and we just have two cards left, and they are the Judgment card. And Judgment is the universal energy of balance, of bringing things, making a judgment on when something is right, when it is wrong. It's that gut knowing in a situation, even if the evidence isn't necessarily pointing at it, where you just know something is off, something isn't right. And when the universe brings in judgment, it isn't always fun. In fact, for me, it usually comes with a tower because, you know, I'm a Sag and rules, well, I haven't always been the best rule follower, but it's kind of in my nature. And then the last card, card 21 in the Major Arcana deck, is the World. And the World is about the cycles that we keep. It's about the loops that we live in. And the World is always either, when it shows up in reading, it's generally pointing out that there's a cycle and that either that cycle is ending or that a new cycle is beginning. And of course, if anything ends, there's never nothing. So that if a cycle ends, then of course there's also another cycle beginning. And the World is always shows the four, not in this one, but in the traditional decks, does always show the four fixed signs of the zodiac. So that's kind of how the energy can shift at times. The energy of the World will come in and you'll be going in one direction, and it'll come in to show you that it's time to shift it. And it's usually an abrupt shift. Because fixed signs, they'll be very stubborn and strong-headed and just go in a direction and just continue to go. Even if they're starting to understand intuitively that, or because of the pain level, that maybe going a different direction would be better, they won't change until they have lined up everything mentally, emotionally. And when they do line that up, they turn around and just go the other way. No question. They just commit and go. So let's go ahead and do, I've already cleaned and shuffled the decks and invited in Spirit and our guides. So let's go ahead and do the light energy for Judgment and see what Spirit might want to teach us tonight about Judgment. You have to excuse me. These cards, I love these cards, but they are just a little bit thick, the material is, and so until they get a little warmed up, they are a little ornery. Can take a minute. Get them shuffled in. Okay, Spirit. Last shuffle for Judgment. What would you like to teach us tonight in our receptive energies about Judgment? At the bottom of the deck, we'll use a clarifier from the bottom. Diamonds. Diamonds are swords. I always forget that these don't have regular. So we have the Ten of Swords. Yeah. With Judgment often comes pain. And in traditional decks, if you know the Ten of Swords card in traditional decks, it's a person laying down on their stomach and they have 10 swords in their back. So yeah, it's pretty much the most painful card, you know, as far as feeling betrayed, stabbed in the back, left for dead, all of those things. It's a fairly painful energy, and it is the completion of the cycle. So when the Ten of Swords comes in, Judgment is coming or has been had. And then we have the Magician. It does take a little bit of magic to change out a cycle. Definitely, it takes some manifesting and some focus. Which is energy that the Magician, being a spiritual energy card, definitely does offer to you. So And the Magician, for me, always brings together the mind and the heart, because it takes both to manifest something. You can't have a thought and an emotion that don't align with what it is that you want to create. They have to align together. The thought has to go out, the emotion will automatically accompany that thought. And if it doesn't feel good, you aren't going to manifest what you want to manifest. You're going to manifest something, but it's going to be equivalent to that emotion. So however that emotion feels, if it feels really good, then you're going to manifest what you want. If it feels really bad, you're going to probably manifest things that you don't really want. And that's right there in our mental energy. And then the next one is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is about the seasons, the changing seasons in life. And it's also about, at the end of a cycle, it always indicates that your fortune is there. Like, when you get to the end of the cycle, you get the wisdom, if the wisdom is what you're after. At the Ten of Swords, there's going to be wisdom about how you got on your belly with swords in your back. And some of those swords, or at least half of them, I always say they're self-inflicted, because in every situation, you're half of the equation. And it doesn't matter if that situation's with work, a work person, a partner, family member, you're still half of the equation between you and whatever else is in that Ten of Swords with you. And swords are, of course, about thoughts. A lot of the pain is about the way that you're thinking about it. And the Wheel of Fortune always indicates that at the end of the cycle, there's going to be something there for you. The fortune is there, and it's a Jupiter card. So it's about expansion. It's about expanding your consciousness, about expanding your heart. And this is in the heart space. This card is in the heart space. So it's definitely about expansion in the heart, that there is a fortune, even in the most painful situations that bring about an end or a change or a judgment. Even about the most difficult situations, there's still a pot of gold. It's just a little harder to find when it's painful, but it comes. Knight of Wands in the spiritual energy. So when you have received the judgment and you've worked on your manifestation, understanding what the pain was about, understanding how you came to be, what was your half of that equation, and then the Wheel of Fortune, finding, even if it's very small, some small amount of something in it that is for you, that adds to you on some level. And then Knight of Wands, take your passion and move forward. Don't stay stuck in the energy of pain, of painfulness. Interesting. It was an interesting downline. So let's look at the masculine energy, or the yang energy. Well, it doesn't want to play with us today. I don't know that. I'm going to take a couple shuffles to warm this one up a little bit. Masculine yang energies for us. Maybe something for the ego and the shadow to work on. Spirit, show us judgment. What really is in reverse? We have the Lovers in reverse. Okay. In old tarot decks, the Lovers used to be called the choice, because the Lovers is something that you have to choose, because it does indicate soul bond energy, and those are not always easy. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Two of Cups. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Okay, so this... in the ego or the shadow, this is all about love. We have the Lovers is in reverse, as I said, and it used to be called the Choice, but the Lovers always indicates an intimate relationship of some kind, whether it's between a partner or between someone who's precious, family member or something. But it's in the reverse, and it wasn't. The deck was not reversed, and I'm pretty adamant about getting my cards up right, so I know that it came out in reverse, and I was told to leave it. So when the Lovers is in reverse and it's in the shadow, to me that just really indicates, because that's spiritual energy, that there's a great deal out of balance about the relationship. And if the Judgment and the Ten of Swords have to do with a lover's relationship, it's going to come in the reverse if there's a Ten of Swords involved in the back, in sort of the background noise. If that's the supporting energy or the energy that's driving Judgment, that doesn't surprise me at all. And the next card out is the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles is about doing work, hard work. And this is in the heart space. So this hard work that has to be done is going to have to be done in here, in the heart. And I think that I really think that we don't realize how hard soul bond relationships are going to be, because when you meet someone and they just check all the boxes and they just ring the bells and you just think it's going to be great, and it's so easy because you feel like you've known them forever, because if there's a soul tie there, you really have. You've known them possibly for lifetimes. You just don't remember them here, but you resonate with them in a way that makes it feel like you've known them forever. And even though you're not aware of what transpired before you actually showed up here. And, but just like a job, if you don't go to your job and put in the work, you don't get paid. And so it is work. And a lot of the work has to be done in here. And a lot of the work has to be done on the individual, because your soul bond relationships are going to trigger you. Because you agreed with that person that you would come and that you would help each other to grow. And that relationship spiritually was based on that premise. And you knew you would be, especially to each other, you knew that you would resonate with each other. Which is further indicated in the spiritual energy of the Two of Cups. Because the Two of Cups, and especially in a spiritual energy placement, because I read my downlines, mental energy, emotional energy, and spiritual energy. That's how I read them. And so when the Two of Cups for me shows up in the spiritual energy, that is just further indicating that this was a soul bond. And these soul bond relationships are the most painful because they resonate the strongest. And we have a really hard time letting them go. Even if we aren't physically with them, we emotionally and mentally have a hard time letting them go. When they have become toxic, and they can often become toxic because change is hard, and we are very resistant to changing until we get 10 swords on our back. Till you get to the 10 of swords, that's very common. But they don't have to be, and you can still love those people, those soul bond energies. You can still love them, even if you're not able to be with them because of the pain. Even if you have to take a break from them, you can still love them spiritually. Because when you leave here and you cross the veil again, you will love them again. Almost instantaneously. Because you will understand everything. And you will understand that you just missed it. If you don't ever reconcile with that person, even if you have forgiven them and gone on with your life, you will still, when you cross the veil, all of that will be gone, because you will understand. And the love for that person then that spirit will be there again, immediately. And your relationship with them, even if you are not physically together, doesn't end not with these soul bond energies. So sometimes it's about loving them from a distance. I didn't even look at the bottom of that deck to see if there was a supporting Seven of Swords on Trickster. So I didn't think to look, but the Seven of Swords on the clarifying the Judgment card for the masculine energy or the yang energy on this side is the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords for me is coyote energy. It's at the very least is fragmented thoughts and possibly trickster. So that would definitely put the Lovers in reverse. Okay, so let's look at this World card. And we've shuffled this deck enough, I think. Let's go ahead and see what we've got. We've got the King of Swords. Very good placement. Very good placement for the King of Swords to support this World card. This feels like a better downline already. The King of Swords, in clarifying or in a supporting role, the King of Swords is great because he says giving all the information. I need to know everything. I need to know as much as I can. I'm going to gather as much information as I can. And then I'm going to practically and with judgment. So he's going to support this Judgment card. With judgment and fairness, I am going to decide on a course of action, and then that's what we're going to do. And then he lines up all of his energy with it, and he does that. And he can get a little bit of a bad rap because he can come across as cold. But he's not cold. He's practical, and he's logical, and he's going to set things into balance. He has a kingdom run. He doesn't have time to be complacent or dallying. Do I have another card in reverse? What is going on here? No, I don't. Okay, we're good. The High Priestess. Yes, it always takes intuition to know, first of all, when you're in a cycle that isn't good for you. It takes the High Priestess, because she doesn't say a lot. She mostly just sends us intuitive energy. It's really about feeling and trying to follow your intuition and trying to line your thoughts up with your intuition. And she's there in the mental energies in order to see the cycle and to begin to close it out and to start another cycle. Definitely takes a High Priestess. It's a great card when you have the world, a world cycle that possibly needs to end. And our next card out is the Six of Clubs, the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles is about creating a balance. It's about the give and take. And it's about equality. It's about equal give and take that you have with someone else or with the people in your life, and even within yourself. So are you being fair with yourself? Are you giving to others more than you're giving to yourself? Are you giving yourself enough love and consideration in situations in life? Or are you putting yourself last? And a lot of times we do that, and it's kind of how our society is set up. But you only have the quality of love or time or effort that you're willing to give yourself. Well, that will be the quality that you're also able to give to someone else. So you have to consider yourself in every situation. Am I balancing all of the aspects, and am I considering myself in that balance? And then our last card is the Nine of Swords. This poor little angel. Is the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is about being up in your head, insomnia, can't sleep, anxiety, worrying. It's just about, I just can't rest. The thoughts are just making me kind of crazy. And that is how it can be when you're at the end, close to the end of a cycle. Your thoughts really can just about drive you mad. And don't overthink the balance. Get quiet and check in with your heart when it's about the balance. Especially, we're reading the feminine energy, especially in the feminine energies. Are you receiving as much as you're giving? Because I know that, and I'm not saying just women, but the feminine energies, often in a society like we live in, often don't ask to be given to as much as is needed. Not even from self. We don't ask ourselves. Our feminine energies aren't considered enough even themselves. I know I have been a single mother for the majority of my children's lives growing up. And I was a business owner, a competitor. I train horses for a living and show. And I lived the majority of my time in masculine energy. And so that will put your life extremely out of balance, because we are to balance the energies that are within us as well. And giving to myself was something that I rarely took the time to do. But it is important. It is absolutely important, because you'll make yourself really sick. Okay, then we have Judgment. We have Judgment clarifying the world. There will be judgment. These two cards will often come together. Very much so. This, what do I have this at? No, okay. I must have turned it over after I took that out. We have the Three of Pentacles. Get some higher learning. We have the... I'm sorry, that's the Three of Swords. Yes, it is. That's the Three of Swords. Till spades throw me off. And then we have the Five of Pentacles. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Okay. The Queen of Wandas. Oh, that's funny. So the Three of Swords for me, that's the most painful card in the deck. The 10 is really terrible, but half the swords are pretty much yours. The Three of Swords in traditional tarot decks is just a heart. It's just a picture of a heart. And there's a sword going at each angle into it, and then one in the middle. And I always say that my thoughts, their thoughts, and reality. And reality is often the most painful one. And the world is going to bring things into reality. It's going to show you how the balance of their thoughts, your thoughts, or my thoughts aren't in agreement, that are crossing through the heart space, and then, you know, where reality is. It's going to bring reality right to your face and let you take a good look at it. And that's in the mental energy, and we do a lot of beating ourselves up. And then we have the Ten of... Is this? The Ten of Wands. We have the Ten of Wands, a heavy burden. Yeah. Have the Ten of Wands, a heavy burden. So if the burden is heavy, put some of... I always say, if you're carrying all 10, then and it has anything to do with a relationship, or there's another person involved, you're carrying too much of it. Half of that load that you're carrying probably isn't yours. Give that other person half of the burden, or just put half of it down. Because, and 10 at least is at the end of the cycle, and so you're pretty close to the wisdom. If you're to the 10 and you are carrying that much and it feels heavy, it's time to put it down. And the way that you're going to be able to put it down is the Queen of Wands. And this is the most independent queen. She is the queen that knows her value. She understands her worth. And she is passionately going to stand up for herself. She's not going to be cruel. This is, this is a feminine energy. So it comes from the heart space. Her passion is coming from her heart space. But she's definitely not going to be taken advantage of. And so the way out of that Ten of Wands carrying that much is to know your worth and to stand up, stand in your worth, stand in your value. This is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Okay, I actually do want to clarify a couple of these. I didn't think we need to, but this is pretty interesting reading. I want to look at... First, I want to see in this downline what this Wheel of Fortune... Spirit, can you give us just a little bit more on this Wheel of Fortune? And this is the Harmony Tarot deck. It has the most beautiful artwork. I love this deck. It shuffles beautifully too. Actually, I think we'll just flip some out. Spirit, can you show us anything on this Wheel of Fortune? What is this energy about? What is this Wheel of Fortune about? The moon. Yeah. Okay. So we have the moon energy coming out on the Wheel of Fortune. So more clarity is needed. More clarity is needed in this. When the moon comes, it obscures things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the moon is making things unclear because of the pain. And this is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is about being blind, bound, gagged, and barricaded. But as you can see, you're barricaded by swords. So you're barricaded by your own thoughts. And what you're... Oh, wow, there's more there. There was 2. I didn't realize there was 2 there. Yeah. And so what is being obscured by the moon is your star. And that is the thing that you wish for, the thing that you really want. And your star is something that you have to actually actively go after. Your star is the thing that you have to pursue. It's your passions. And the way that you get there is the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is fullness of heart. He knows the worth of his heart. He's not giving his love away for free. He expects reciprocation. And he is going to stand in his power and defend his heart and defend his position. But he's not cruel about it. He's still coming from that big squishy heart. But he is going to expect equal return. I want to see... what else do we want to look at here? I kind of want to look at this 2 of Cups. I would take 1 card for this Lovers to the 2 of Cups downline. Spirit, what can you give us for this Lovers to the 2 of Cups? Anything else on this? Lovers to the 2 of Cups. The High Priestess in reverse. Okay. So the ego is not wanting to see, in this masculine energy, the ego is not wanting to see the clarity or the intuition. Ignoring the intuition. When your intuition is upside down, I mean, the Lover's coming out upside down, and we've got some coyote energy there supporting it. That's not surprising at all. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune coming out after that. Yeah, this is going to push this person. This is going to push this masculine energy or this ego energy. And these energies can just be within you. It doesn't necessarily take another person. We all have feminine and masculine energies, and I can honestly say I am 2 mutable signs. I have Gemini rising and I'm Sagittarius. And my mutable energy can argue with itself quite effectively. But thankfully, I do have Aquarius moon, which is when it gets really important, it gets all the way into the heart space. And my Aquarius will say, enough. This is what we're doing. This is what's logical. So I understand like the teeter-tottering that happens in your mind and how you can just argue back and forth between your heart and your mind, just back and forth. So while this could be a masculine person and this could be the feminine, definitely, it also can just be happening within you, within what my heart feels and what my heart wants, and then also what my ego says, no, we're not doing that. I'm going to stand in my pride and I've done both. I've had that argument within myself. For sure. Yeah, I have these correct. I want to see. I'm kind of curious about these anxieties, these anxious energies. This 9 of Swords. Spirit, I'd like to know a little bit more about this 9 of Swords. Swords. You're almost to the end of that cycle. It's 3 of Wands, expanding. 4 of Cups. Okay, we have the 10 of Swords, which we've already talked about over there. The 10 of Swords is just really painful energy. And remember, 5 of those swords you're using. 5 of these thoughts are your thoughts that you're sabotaging yourself with. So stop those. Definitely stop those, because they're not serving you. They're not going to help you. And then we have the 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands is about expansion. It's about planning long term and then making a plan for your passions to move forward. But it also denotes some passing of time, because these things, these plans that this person is making, like he's looking out over, a hill, and a lot of times there's a water and a harbor, and he's looking into the horizon. But it does denote waiting for your ships to come in, waiting for things to change. So one of the things, what I would say is, if you're up at night and there's a lot of pain here, and you're waiting, never wait. Never wait for someone else to change. If you're waiting for someone else to change or something else to happen, you're just wasting your time. Don't wait. Never wait. Especially if this has been a repeating cycle with the Wheel of Fortune over here in this downline, and the High Priestess in reverse. This person isn't wanting to wait. And the Four of Cups, the Four of Cups always has a person, and there's almost always a tree. This is take time. Take time for you. Take time to meditate. These 3 full cups, these cups are full. If you'll focus on these 3 cups, because a person generally is just kind of looking sort of complacent and not really paying attention, not looking away from the cups. And then there's always this 4th cup being offered from the universe to the person. The universe wants to offer you more. If you're waiting for this person, and while you're waiting for this person, you're complacent and not appreciating the cups that you have, and that can be the other things in your life, your job, your family, yourself, your own self. If you're not loving these things, you're blocking the universe from giving you more, because it takes gratitude for something, any one of these, before this will come to you. This can't come until you're grateful for these. So rest on it. If you're going to take time and you're going to wait, if you're going to use the 3 of Wands and you're going to try and wait for this pain to go away before you start to appreciate one of these 3 cups, so that you can get to the 4th cup, there's more for you. The universe is always wanting to offer you more. Never wait for someone else to get it figured out. Heal you. Worry about you and heal you first. And if they catch up with you, great. Awesome. And if they don't, the universe will always have a 4th cup for you. There will always be more love. Cups are always about love. There will always be more love. The only one withholding you from that 4th cup is you. And waiting for someone else to catch up. I heard the most interesting thing the other day. I had been listening to something and I wasn't paying that much attention, but I tuned in right when this person said, they were on the subject of twin flames, which is, a controversial thing with, in the tarot community, well, in most spiritual communities. And that's just basically a soul bond relationship between lovers is really all it is. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's just a new coined term, really, more than anything. But she said, if you can see that your twin flame is very possibly not going to align in this lifetime, or not that you can see, then you can ask for a part of their energy to be split off and given to a different soulmate, and ask that person be prepared for you, because the universe is always preparing. Anytime there's an absence, the universe is wanting to fill it, but it cannot fill the absence until you let go of the energy that's in that place. So if you are still connected to someone just in your thoughts and you're having an energetic exchange with them, until you have cycled out what is between you and you have dealt with the pain that is there, and you have allowed that connection to flow, at least with the spiritual love that you could have for them, the love that you could have for them spiritually, you're not a match for a 4th cup. You're not a match for a new soul energy. And when I heard what she said, I thought, because I'd never heard that before, and I just said to Spirit, is that true? And he said, anything that you believe is true for you. And so that's a thought. So if you feel like you'll never have love again because your person is ornery, or the person that you believe to be your twin flame or your soulmate is ornery, just know that that's not the only one. You can have a fourth cup still. Okay, I do want to see in this last downline. I want to see this Three of Swords, at least. I guess we could get clarity on the whole thing, but I definitely want to see the Three of Swords. Two of Cups. Okay. Well, I don't think they could push home the fact that this is a soul bond, intimate relationship anymore. We've got the Two of Cups. And those are painful. The Ten of Cups. Oh, yeah. You saw that person as your fulfillment. Page of Cups. Okay. All right. So we have the Two of Cups, which is, again, indicates soul bond energy. But we didn't have the Lovers. So, yeah, the Lovers hasn't come out of this deck. So, it is possible that you could still have a Two of Cups. And I know that this pain, this Three of Swords, is about a Two of Cups relationship. And I know that you saw that it was going to... that in your mind, for you, it was Ten of Cups. And you felt that it was a Ten of Cups, and that's what the pain is about. And I think that Spirit is saying you're going to have to see it for what it really is. While you may have envisioned that Ten of Cups with this masculine, Page of Cups is do a little more learning in love. Do a little bit more learning about what it is for you that is actually a Ten of Cups. And just like with anything, you can't get from this kind of pain until you have gone through the individualizing of the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. And until you understand really what you're worthy of, what your worth is in love, and love yourself enough, actually achieving the Ten of Cups, just like the Ten of Pentacles, actually achieving fulfillment in love can't happen. Not until you personally can fulfill that within yourself. And that would be at a Nine of Cups. So, but generally it's going to take a walking away from this kind of energy, which happens at the Eight of Cups. It takes a walking away first, in the heart space, and seeing it, really seeing it for what it really was, or what it really is, or what it really isn't. Because that's a lot of painful energies, and that's really what the world is about. The world is about ending a cycle. And any time a cycle ends, there's always going to be, it never ends and then that's it. It always ends and then begins again, because it's a loop, and love is a loop. It just, like the infinity loop, it just continues. So I have because I decided on the unknown crisis for an oracle deck for this reading, mostly because anytime that in my life there's been judgment and the world, they come together. I'm actually kind of surprised the Tower didn't come out. If I was reading for myself, it probably would have. But Spirit, what would you want to give us on this reading? Maybe a card for each downline, or whatever you think, actually. Take that one. Anything else? Let's see more. Aww. Ghost ship. Ghost ship. Yeah, okay. Ghost ship, lost souls and unknown destinies. So, if you're dealing with a lost soul. Your destiny's gonna be unknown. And that this kind of energy, this trickster energy, this Lovers in reverse, it's gonna ghost you. It's gonna ghost you when things are important. Been there. The frozen land. Even in the coldest places, there are flames of hope. Yeah, there are. Even when you get to the Ten of Swords, the Three of Swords, even when there's pain, there's always hope. The black cat. People who are silent may have something brewing inside of them that you wouldn't believe. Yeah. And I know that, like, people say they're unlucky, but for me, I think black cats are lucky. Black cats are auspicious. They actually are capable of changing energy. Their purr actually causes healing. If a cat lays on you and it purrs, it will generally lay on the person that is in the family the sickest, if it's not their person. But when they purr, they actually heal. The energy, the resonance of their purr actually has healing energies. So that's pretty interesting. But if you have been the strong silent type, when you start to feel again, and when you start to let those emotions that you suppress out, because silence isn't strong, actually. Silence is actually weak. I only know because I have been both. And inside of you is a great deal of wisdom and a great deal of strength that most people will be surprised at as you heal. Definitely. Definitely. Okay. If you feel called to a personal reading or to spiritual counseling, in the description box is my email. If you would like more just healing information, my website is also there. You can go to there and just browse there. There's a lot of information there on loving yourself and what a journey like that towards healing and spiritual evolution begins as. And otherwise, just have the most blessed evening. Namaste.